Okay, so we are here with Milford Carter, and this podcast is Living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it is for my relocation buyers, my YouTube viewers who tune into the channel and want to know everything there is to know about Tulsa, but they see it through my eyes.
Okay.
So I want to give them views from other Tulsans to see, what their favorite things are, Tulsa from their eyes, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything.
Right.
Because if people are relocating, you want to know about the city.
I love it.
So that's where you come in.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully I can be a great help. That's what I'm here for.
I think you will. So to start it off, what is your favorite thing about living in Tulsa?
Man, that's a good question. Tulsa is... What I like is that Tulsa is a big little city. It's got a lot of the elements of a small town, right? So usually in Tulsa, people are pretty nice. They're friendly. So if you're walking down the street and, you pass somebody, oftentimes they may, say hi, right? They're not going to ask you, why are you talking to them? It's going to be one of those things, whatever. So everyone's pretty nice in Tulsa. I like that. There's a lot of growth and development that's going on in Tulsa. So I think that's good. It doesn't cost a lot of money to move around Tulsa, and you can pretty much get anywhere in about 15 or 20 minutes.
That is one of the things that I love about Tulsa. Now, do you live in Tulsa specifically?
Yes. Yeah, okay. South Tulsa.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And how long were you born and raised here?
I am an Okie, yes. Born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma my entire life. The only time I've ever lived outside of Tulsa, I had to think about that first. Yeah, the only time I've ever lived outside of Tulsa is when I studied overseas. So I was in college, I studied in Spain for a semester. But beyond that, I've never lived outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
But you travel quite a bit, don't you?
I do travel a lot, yeah. I love to travel. So I love people, I love culture, I love different cultures. So, and I'm someone that likes to explore a lot, but also business. I travel for business a lot too. So, but yeah, I love to travel. I love to go and see different places or whatever. So, yeah.
So is there any place, like in your travels, is there a city that reminds you of the Tulsa area or?
Man, good question. I used to look at Dallas as like a big Tulsa, but the growth in Dallas has just been so crazy now that I can't really say that. I don't know that there is a city that I could really compare Tulsa to or say that it's similar to Tulsa in this particular fashion. There may be facets of a city that can remind me of Tulsa, but in its entirety, in the whole, I don't think I could say that. I don't think that there is a city that I've been to yet that models what we have here. So no, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. So as far as your favorite things to do in Tulsa, and I'm going to ask you this question through, now your kids are older, right?
Yes, so, my kids, I have adult children, so yes.
Yes, so are they both in college?
No, I have a son that is a sophomore in college, very proud of him. I have a daughter who's a senior in high school, very proud of her as well. So those are my two, just sophomore in college, senior in high school. She's graduating, and now it's like, oh no, what does life look like?
Totally different. Are you going to get to keep her? Is she going to stay, or is she going
the question's
off?
It's an up in the air question right now. I don't have an answer for it just yet. There's a few different colleges that she is looking at. One, actually a few out of state, and then you have a few in state. So we're kind of rounding the bend to really make that decision.
Yeah.
So we'll see here in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then back to that question, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite thing to do in Tulsa for entertainment as an adult, and then with your family, with your kids?
All righty. So as an adult, so I am someone that it depends on what my mood is, right? So I like downtown certain times of the week. Downtown has a lot, especially now. It didn't used to always be the case with downtown. But now there's a number of, Tulsa's pockety, how I describe it. Like there are a number of different pockets of entertainment in Tulsa. So if you're downtown, there are a number of different places that you can go and you can experience, different facets of downtown life, right? So that's a good thing. I do love Brookside. I'm on Brookside pretty much almost every week. That's where you also have a lot of variety there. The guys will hang out for happy hour or something like that, maybe at a cigar bar or something like that. You've got another place called R Bar, which is really more it's a restaurant for sandwiches and, whatever. So Doc's is right there as well. I like Doc's. So all these places are places that I frequent. I can't actually forget BBD, Brookside by Day. The breakfast place. I'm a foodie, but I'm a breakfast guy in particular. I'm the type of person that can eat breakfast at 10 p.m. Actually, at any time during the day, and I'm fine with it.
Do they serve breakfast at 10 p.m.?
No,
Okay.
They close at 2. But if they did serve it at 10, I would be there to eat breakfast at 10 p.m. I will literally, I will eat breakfast at any time. I have no problem with that.
That is funny. I haven't been there. I don't think I've been there for 10 years.
Yeah?
I think it's been at least 10 years.
And I order the same thing when I go. So I'm a creature of habit. Typically, if I go to a place, if I find something I like, I'm going to order that thing every single time. So, So that's that. I think, you've got, if Guthrie Green is having certain events outside, I'll go out to Guthrie Green for things. I like Jinx. They've got a number of different things that you can do. Jinx, like the River Walk, is really good for individuals, so I can go there, myself, or adults, and for family fun. So Jinx is really good for that. I think Tulsa, the Gathering place, is really, really good. So my parents used to live on Riverside, and we saw the actual opening, the parade, everything for the Gathering place. It went literally right past our house. They've since moved, and so we're not there anymore. But the Gathering place is a great, great place for individual. If you want to just have some time to get away, you can go there and kind of relax. Maybe even meet an associate or something like that for some sort of brunch or meeting or whatever. You can also take your kids there. So it's a really, really good place to do any and everything with any and everyone. So I do like that, which of course it's the Gathering place. So they want you to gather.
Yeah.
So
it's a top 10 world attraction.
Is it?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes, it is. Our little piece of Tulsa is a top 10 world attraction.
That giving pledge works, doesn't it? I'm telling you. And the name Gathering Place comes from Tulsa. The Native American word for Tulsa, or Tulsi, is gathering place.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's I think from what I understand, the logic behind the name.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. That's a new fact for me. So
there we go.
You taught me something.
There we go. I'm here for it all day.
So is that if you had a favorite place to pick in Tulsa?
Man.
If someone visiting Tulsa and they're trying to decide, am I going to live here or not? Like, where would you send them? Where would you tell them, okay, you've got to check this place out?
Okay. So, and because of my profession, usually my questions require additional clarification. So to that, I would ask who it is that's asking the question and what it is that they're looking to do, right? Because if it's an individual or if it's a young adult and they're wanting to go out on the town for the night, that's a different type of conversation. If it's like, I love the Philbrook. Like, you can go Philbrook. I love art, right? And so I would, tell someone you can go in Philbrook and that you've got a lot of really nice attractions there in Philbrook. Plus, the park itself is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I have a story about being bitten by a squirrel one day, but I'll tell you at another point. So, yeah, I literally got bit by a squirrel. I was trying to be nice and feed a squirrel, and he bit me. But anyway, that's on the story, right? Yeah.
Do not feed the wild animals.
Yeah, do not feed the animals. So for anybody watching, do not feed the animals, okay? All right, so, but Philbrook is nice. Gilcrease Museum is nice. You've got a lot of history around Greenwood that, you can go and see. It's really, really nice. It's a real, although not necessarily the brightest spot in Tulsa's history, it's still rich with history, right? And you can't really fully, I love history. I'm a big student of history. And you have to embrace and appreciate all facets of history, the good and the bad. You got to embrace them, right? Because they make you who you are. So I would say that. I'm trying to figure out where else I would say. I would say, again, there are a number of different. Brookside is great. I love Brookside. South Side is good. North Side is good, depending on what you're looking for. I haven't done much in West Tulsa, just to be honest with you. I don't really go west very often at all.
Yeah.
East, I don't go east very much either. So I would say south, north, and then that whole Riverside, Jinx area. So, yeah.
Okay, those are good areas. And
Okay.
speaking of history, let's talk about where we're sitting, where we're at.
Yes, yes.
This impressed you today.
It did. So it impressed me for a number of different reasons. One, okay, so again, I come from a church background, first of all, being in the church studio. My parents are pastors, Sanctuary Church, yeah. And we actually used to have a building or a church. Our church used to be here on 5th and Peoria, which is really a stone's throw from where we are right now. It's a church studio. And before we actually bought that building, we were looking for other places. We looked at this place. So I remember walking through here, looking at it all. It was nice. Now, it doesn't look anything like what it looks like now. Now, this place is beautiful. And I'm a musician, so I started off playing drums when I was 8 years old. So to be around music and instruments is like, I'm at home, man. I love this.
Yeah.
So but it's beautiful. And a lot of history, a lot of famous people have recorded in this particular studio with the same equipment that we're using right now today. So that's impressive.
That's so incredible. And we were talking, you asked why I picked, this is the church studio, and you asked why I picked it. And it was because I was going through venues for the podcast. And when Ronnie showed me around here, and then he told me all the people that have recorded here, was Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, who else? You can talk.
Oh, I'm allowed to talk?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
J.J. Cale, Kansas, Willie Nelson, Tom Petty, Ringo Starr,
They put you on the spot, man.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah, Eric Clapton.
Recently Air Supply, Kenny Loggins.
Zach Bryan, but those are new people. But yeah, like so many classic people. Elton John, did I already say him?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Leon Russell, of course.
Leon Russell, yeah.
Man.
So like we are recording where history has been made.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, you leave Stevie, when you start with Stevie, you say Lionel Richie, Eric Clapton, I'm done. You don't have to say anything else with those three. I'm done. That's it. Yeah. That is beautiful.
yes, that place is pretty amazing. So the owner of the studio, Teresa, I'm trying to get her to be a guest on the podcast. I haven't given her a formal invitation, but hopefully she will join us. Yes.
I think she would. I think she would, definitely. She would be a great guest, too. Absolutely.
Yes.
I have to look at that session when we do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so back to Tulsa. Let's see here. So we didn't talk about for your family.
Okay. Yes.
What would be your favorite spot? Do you guys have a favorite spot for your family?
So family fun. So, again, my kids are 18 and 19 now. So their idea of fun is a little bit different, right? They want to go off and, do their thing. But, Gathering Place is always a good family fun place. Guthrie Green is a good family fun place, especially for young kids. That's really, really good if you want to let your kids just go and just have fun. I mean, those two are really nice. I like Turkey Mountain. I forgot to say that also, because that's really good to get just outdoors exposure. You can go on those trails and kind of hike. And it's also a good time to get away and kind of think. You've got really, it's nothing like being outside and then just having that outdoor air and exposure. You got the trees, you've got all the landscape and whatnot. Not landscaping, but you know what I mean, like the
nature.
The nature, right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, So you've got all that there. And that kind of really helps when you are processing, trying to clear your head, things like that. So, but kids, all those things I mentioned, Gathering Place, I would say that would be good. I'm trying to figure out where else for kids. Oh, they've got a number of different, so right outside, right south, you've got a few gaming places, and I cannot remember the name of them right now. But right across from Woodland Hills Mall, there's a place, Synergy, that's what it is.
Oh, really?
And they've got games there. You can go down Highway 75, right around the Tulsa Hills area. There's another gaming place there, which I can't remember, Main Event. So you've got Synergy there, you've got Main Event, so those are all good.
Yeah, those
right?
are fun.
I'm not really the biggest gamer, so that's, kind of not really my area. Although if my kids ask, or if you ask my kids, I talk a lot of noise, like I can beat them and everything, and I probably couldn't beat them in Super Mario Brothers, but yes.
Yeah, I've gotten on there a couple of times, and it just makes me dizzy. So
Correct.
I don't know how they do it.
Right? Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so let's wave a magic wand.
Okay, we're waving it.
Yep. And if you could live anywhere in the Tulsa area, any neighborhood in the Tulsa area or surrounding suburbs, what neighborhood would you move into?
Good question. anywhere, if I could wave a magic wand in Tulsa, where would that be, or surrounding areas? You know what? I would say now, at this particular stage in my life, I would live downtown. I would. Why is that? One, I don't want to do any more yard maintenance. I don't want to cut nobody's grass,
Yep.
right? So I don't want to cut any grass anymore. But also, I like how downtown is really growing. I like the topography of downtown. I like the scene. I like the feel of downtown. There's a lot of, and you are, in my opinion, right next to the different flavors of Tulsa, right? As downtown, you've got your stone's throw from north. You're just right on Brookside, being downtown. You're right here on Riverside as well. And then you can jump on the highway and get anywhere else again, like I said, in 10 or 15 minutes. So I would do downtown. I would absolutely downtown.
Yeah,
I think that would be nice.
Downtown's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I wish, like in the interdispersal loop, like that there was more. Like, there's a lot of apartments,
Yep.
but not a lot of actual condos or houses that you can
Right.
purchase. So I would love to
Yes.
see that expand more, which it is.
It is. It is.
It definitely is.
Slowly but surely, it is growing more towards that. I mean, and that would be a question that I would probably have more for you, the real estate professional, as far as the need. I mean, do you see that there is a growing need for more home ownership downtown?
Yes, there is definitely a
Okay.
need. People do. They want to be in downtown. And like you said, years and years ago when you were younger, downtown wasn't, somewhere that you would go. It's totally
Right.
changed from,
Absolutely.
when we were younger. So I definitely hear that a lot now.
And I've seen some units downtown that some people say, man, these are really, like, they're priced like really high. And I mean, do you see that is the case, or do you think that the pricing is in line with?
I mean, it's higher. It's definitely higher price to live downtown than it
Okay.
is, in the surrounding suburbs. But when you think about, just supply and demand,
Right.
there's no supply. So that is
Right.
what is pushing, that price
Okay.
there. So, I mean, as far as that goes, it is a rarity. So I think
Okay.
the pricing is where it's at.
It needs to be, okay. Okay, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
But
thank
there
you for
are
answering my
some-
questions.
Yes,
Great.
there are some great neighborhoods, around downtown. But yeah, there's nothing like just being right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, that's, and I guess part of the price is that you don't have to deal with some of the other things you have to deal with, in the suburbs, right? Grass being
Yes.
one of those.
Grass.
But also you have access to a number of different things closer by, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think parking would be my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Dealing with parking.
But if parking was taken care of, then
Yes.
the price would make sense, because now you've got everything you need.
Yep, everything you need.
All right. That's good. It's good to know.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about schools. When people are researching, they look at schools. So tell me about your kids' experience with school, where they went to school.
Okay, so starting out, I started my kids at a school called Deborah Brown Community School, which so happens to be downtown, right? And it's a really, really great, it's a charter school, really great school. From there, my son's, after his third grade year, we moved to Holland Hall. And Holland Hall, so Deborah Brown Community School and Holland Hall are, for all intents and purposes, I would say that they're probably drastically different schools.
Okay.
Okay. Deborah Brown Community School is majority African American. It is, right? But a very powerhouse school. I mean, their testing is off the charts. They're really, really good, as most charter schools are. I mean,
Right.
they have the ability to be a lot more specialized in their offering. So then from there we went to Holland Hall. I love Holland Hall because my children at that point are able to be exposed to other things. I don't want them to just only grow up. I don't believe it's the best for any child to grow up in a microcosm or in a controlled, a very small, tight-knit environment. I think you need exposure, right? Some of the best teaching you'll ever have is exposure.
Right.
So I wanted them to be exposed to all of what Tulsa has. So we, talked to a few different friends and whatnot, and one particular friend was actually working at Holland Hall at the time. We had the tour. I loved it. I mean, they were really good. I thought the people were like so nice. I was like, this is not real. Like, You know, I feel like I was in Whoville. I feel like I was like the Grinch in Whoville. I feel like I was in Whoville. Like, okay, everybody's too nice. Like, you know, I need somebody be mad, someone yell, something, right? But all jokes aside, it was a really good school, and so they've been there since then. Of course, my son graduated there. He ended up going to play on a football scholarship. So his junior and senior year, they won state for the first time in football.
Awesome.
Really, really good. Undefeated. Yeah. I can go and brag on how for that. But undefeated for that first year. Second year, they only lost one game, which is a fluke. But really, really good programs. And since they've done well, from what I understand this year, right now they're going for state in basketball. The boys basketball team is going for state again. So good luck to Holland Hall and everything. You guys got this.
All right. You gave them a pretty good plug.
Yeah,
so.
Really good school. Really nice. Very, very good school. I mean, I would recommend it. As a matter of fact, I do recommend it for a lot of parents who are coming in as places to go. Yeah.
And Holland Hall is a private school, so we're not.
I'm sorry, I should say that.
Yes, we're not a public school, so.
Right. Yes, I graduated from a public school. I graduated from Union High School.
Yes.
So yes. So I'm a product of public school education, which I'm not going to say anything about that. But Union has a very good education. So my education was fine as well.
You turned out great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. And Holland Hall is in Tulsa.
Yes, it is in South Tulsa, right off of 81st, in between Yale and Sheridan. So really good school. Again, private school. But yeah, I like them. They're good.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about, what you do in your career. You're in finance.
Yes.
And so the people that are watching this, often are moving to the Tulsa area for the cost of living. They can sell their house in, Colorado or California, buy a fantastic house here for cash.
Absolutely.
And, do pretty well. So do you have any recommendations? Because you do investments, right? So tell me a little bit about, what you do and what service you provide.
Yeah, so I'm a financial planner. We do anything. We go. So what I tell people is I'm a fully licensed advisor. I have my Series 7, 66, life and health. I'm a chartered financial consultant, all this, blah, blah, blah. But essentially what I tell people is that we can go from very basic to extremely complex. Just it depends on whatever our client needs. And so for individuals moving into Tulsa, I have clients in the Oklahoma area and then the surrounding states, or just really not even surrounding states. I have clients in California, Florida, Texas, Indiana, blah, blah, blah. But Tulsa is uniquely positioned that, like you said, you have a great standard of living here in Tulsa. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of money. For individuals who sell their house, they can turn around and have to worry about capital gains tax, put that money into another property. And because of the difference in, what you're getting in California and here, you could literally, like you said, pay all cash for that property. Now, sometimes, depending on what's going on with the client, it may be better to possibly leverage that money and, do something different with it. But that's on a case-by-case basis, right?
Oh, that's a good question. So, so if people are selling their house, I mean, you said a case-by-case, so you're not going to be able to answer this, but it would maybe be worth a call. For my situation, is it better to take out a mortgage? Or should I put all my money into this house and pay cash and be free and clear? So there could be alternatives of, what could be better.
Absolutely. You always want to look at, there are a number of different things to consider, right? So cash on cash return, right? If I had this cash and I, did something else with it, what are the possibilities? No one can predict the future, right? So we always have to put that disclaimer.
Yes.
But, would it be better to possibly put that money to use somewhere else, and then just borrow the difference? Would it be better to put that to use and then while it's used, let that be the leverage, meaning you can use that as leverage for whatever loan that you're wanting to get for the house, or there are a number of different things that you can do with that. From a taxation standpoint, is it better to just pay cash and roll that cash over into said property? Is it better to take that money again and reinvest that? Or, but those are things that you want to kind of look at it from a case-by-case perspective. Some of the factors that you also look at, age has something to do with that. What other investments do you have working for you? What other risk factors are present, with the client? And so when we start to look at those things, then
So, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Okay.
But could people call you? I mean, if they are thinking about moving to Oklahoma and they're like, Milford,
Yes.
What should I do?
Absolutely. I am, if there's anything I am, it is a servant. And one of the things, it is a very big passion of mine to help people financially. So I was a mortgage loan officer for some years, right? So I am very well versed in the mortgage side of home buying. Although I don't do mortgages anymore, I still can kind of help clients with, structuring certain things. But yeah, absolutely. I'm here as a resource. I can, give my information if I give it here or we post it on the link or whatever. Absolutely.
Okay, super. If you want to just throw out your phone number,
Sure.
go ahead, but we'll definitely have the information on there too.
My office is 918-497-1195. Again, 918-497-1195.
Milford
Carter. That's exactly right.
Okay, but we're not finished talking about Tulsa.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we talked about restaurants, entertainment, things to do. Okay, what about safety? When people Google Tulsa,
Safety is
it looks
important.
crazy.
It doesn't?
Yes, when you Google Tulsa, we're ranked one of the
Most dangerous places?
dangerous places, and for statistics. And I tell my viewers that I don't feel that way. I don't feel unsafe in Tulsa. So what's your view of it? What are your feelings?
I was about to make a joke, but I'm not going to do it. I wasn't going to go over it, so I was like, just forget it. No, Tulsa is fine. There are certain parts, as with any city that you go to, there's certain parts that are bad. But even the quote unquote bad parts are not bad all the time. Sometimes you have knucklehead kids or people that have nothing to do, and so stuff happens. But Tulsa itself, no, it's a pretty safe city. It's not a high crime area. It's not a high crime metropolis or whatever, right? So the city of Tulsa itself, no. But there are certain parts where, you do have, as with any city, problems. I don't see them a lot. Now, downtown, you will have the occasional homeless person that will have a conversation with someone that is not there, but they swear up and down that they are there. So you do have some of those, and for whatever reason, whoever they're talking to is really upset them. So they're yelling and screaming. And whenever that argument is over with, everything is fine. It's a one-sided discussion, but it's fine. And that's what I see a lot downtown. Violence, no, not a lot. I don't see that a lot. Now there are certain parts, again, of the city where yes, you will have that. But no, Tulsa's a pretty safe place.
So your daughter, you feel fine, you're not worried about her if she, is out with friends or...
Okay. So I can I can be the dad that sometimes it's like, hey, call me. I would prefer the prevention side than to have to get a call after something's happened already. So I'm not a helicopter parent. So that's not me.
Okay.
But I am someone who's like, hey, let me know what's going on. Do we need to do the Life 360 thing? I don't like to necessarily do that, but if I have to, I will. So there's that. There's always a little bit of concern as a parent. That's just a parent.
Yeah.
When they're going off to college, my son's off to college. I think about, I have that worry, that concern about him. With my daughter going off to college, I have that worry and concern about her going off to college. It's the same as, now, right? Just be responsible, wear your seatbelt, don't text and drive, those things. Those are my main concerns. And as long as they're not out too late, then I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Tulsa's a safe city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay. Favorite small business. Do you have a favorite small business?
To have a favorite small business. That's a great... All right, so I'll say this. There are a number of different small businesses here in Tulsa. It depends on, again, what you're looking for, right? So whenever someone asks me, well, where do I go? I'm like, well, what do you want? If you're wanting food, barbecue, Leon's Smoke Shack right across the street is really, really good. If you're wanting fixins, it's great soul food. So they're good. Sweet Lisa's is absolutely phenomenal. So they're good. So those are all really good small businesses. If you're needing real estate services, I mean, you can always talk to Sabrina Shaw. I mean, that's like one of the best real estate
There
small
you go.
businesses, right? Okay. Yeah, I think it just depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
So,
do you have a favorite store? Do you have like a favorite local like clothing store?
I do not have a favorite clothing
Okay.
store. Whenever I go to shop for clothes, it depends. I'm a deal shopper, so I don't. A lot of your small businesses I want to support, and I'll support them, and I'm supporting them. But most, I don't know as far as men's clothing. Yeah, I don't have a.
I'm trying to think if there's a little.
There isn't
yeah,
a boutique small business or whatever for men's clothing that I can think of.
Yeah.
So a lot of my men's clothing, I'll buy at Nordstrom's Rack. I'll go to Saks Fifth when they have sales. I'm a deal shopper. I'll go to Dillard's when they have sales. I'm all about the deal. So, wherever the sale is, if it's a good sale, then cool. Saks and Judd is also good for like custom suits. So I'll get custom suits at different places or whatever. But
Where's that?
Saks and Judd is on Brookside.
Okay.
It's I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. It's behind Docks in that little shopping
Yes.
area right there behind Docks. So they're good. Q Clothier is a place where I've gotten suits from. And then there's another one, I can't remember the name of them, and they'll kill me for it too. They come to you. There's not an actual store. They'll just come to you, measure you, get your suit and everything else like that. So
We need to find out who that is.
Yes. It'll come to me in a moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Out of all the people in Tulsa,
Oh, wow. Okay, here we go.
yes, this
All right.
is really going to put you on the spot, and this is for you.
For me, okay.
Who do you admire most? Like, who is a Tulsan that you
Tulsan.
most admire? You might not have ever met them, or you may know them, but a Tulsan that you feel like makes a difference, that you admire.
Wow, that definitely puts me on the spot for
It
sure. I
does.
mean, and it's only one person, so I'm going to offend a lot of people right now. For the people I do not name, just charge it to my head and not my heart. It is not anything personal. How about that?
Yes.
I have to put that disclaimer. And admire for what reason? Tell me. Give me more.
For making a difference, for maybe being somebody, it might be somebody you've never met. I don't know, somebody you'd like to meet, or somebody that you see doing things in the community, doing things that's making a difference, doing good.
Yeah. Man, that's a very good question. Wow, that's a very good question. I can talk about, I don't know. That's a good question. Wow, that's a really good question. So my parents are very impactful in my life. They always have been. And I was trying to look for someone outside of my immediate family is really what I was thinking. My parents are like phenomenal. And I'm not saying it just to be like, oh, well, those are my parents, but they've been through quite a bit. I mean, my mom's had, she had a brain tumor. So she had surgery there. She had a stroke. She had breast cancer. You look at her, you can't tell any of those things. You can't tell a thing, right? She's still as feisty as all get out. My father, about 2 years ago, fell off of a roof.
Oh my goodness.
It was 20 some odd feet. And and he landed on his feet, which is crazy. He was on a ladder, climbing up a ladder. The ladder, as soon as he got up to the very top of the roof, the ladder gave way and he falls on the concrete. Now,
Oh my goodness.
somehow or another, he falls and lands on his feet. Like, I don't know how when a ladder falls, you land on your feet, but he does. Had he fallen any other way, we would have been in a funeral.
Oh my goodness.
So he falls, broke one leg. I think he fractured the other one, compound fracture on his foot. The bones come through the skin, through his, his feet or whatever. And then he fractured 3 vertebrae, compressed 3 vertebrae in his spine. It's crazy. Now he walks around, you can't tell any of those things. So they're both people who have been through quite a bit. And they're still standing, So I think those are people that are really good people that I would admire. I'm trying to figure out if there's somebody else that I would think of. I would like to go outside of that, you know what I mean? But they've done a lot in the community. They make a big difference in the community. I think that they've been really impactful in my life currently and even in the past. I'm sure going forward they will be. So
Are they pastors?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they're both pastors, yes. And been pastors since 1987. All right, I had to think about it. March 4th, 1987. So, yeah. Actually, they were pastors before that and then founded the church sanctuary March 4th, 1987. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for now, I think I'll leave it at those two.
Okay.
And if something else comes up and I just jump in and say, oh, I got this other person, then I'll say it.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
So we talked a little bit that you live in South Tulsa now. So tell me about your neighborhood, your area, the things that you like about it.
Yeah. So it's a quiet area. It's a quiet neighborhood, quiet area, kind of off back by it's not really by itself, but it's kind of off in the back part of the neighborhood, if you will. So it's quiet. So when it's weird, is I'm a very social individual, but I like to have quiet time. It seems like it's a dichotomy or whatever, right? But when I want to have time where I can just go out, like sit out somewhere on the patio, or even just sit out in the backyard or something like that, I can do that. Not have to worry about, a lot of traffic. I don't have to worry about a lot of noise. I don't have to worry too much about being disturbed, basically. But so you have that, but then also at the same time, every weekend or so, there may be someone having an event, and they'll have a lot of people over or whatever. So there's a lot of, you have a lot of activity in life around there, but just enough where if you need to have some quiet time, you can have that too. So I like that. And it's
Okay.
kind of up on a hill, so I can see, I've got good views of the city.
Okay. So when you say South Tulsa, is that like, how south is it? Like, give us a little
Like
bit
around-
of a vicinity.
Like around 71st, 71st and Sheridan area. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so easy access to the highways. What's your commute like?
So now I would say actually where I am, you have to. So there isn't a highway that's like really close by. So you have to drive a little bit, a couple of miles, which
yes.
that's for Tulsa. For
Yes.
Tulsa, that's like it's
To people that are relocating, they think that's so funny.
Correct. So yes, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't think about the audience. That's right. Someone relocating, yes, we're close to highways because you got a highway probably 3 miles, whichever. Right. So yeah, if you're going east, you've got the 169. If you're going north, right, then you've got the Broken Arrow Expressway. You've got I-44 even before the Broken Arrow. So you do have highways. So yes, that is right.
Yeah. So how long does it take you to get to the highway from your house?
Oh yeah. So from my house to the highway, God, that's embarrassing. Yeah, that is pretty bad. Maybe I drive fast too, so maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that. Good point. Yeah. I may be a little bit impatient behind the wheel. Maybe.
Okay. And you had mentioned like you can get anywhere, within 15 minutes. So that's
Easily.
Yeah. That's a great thing, all the other suburbs and everything else.
Yes. Oh yeah. And you've got the suburbs. You've got, Jinx, you've got Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sand Springs, Sapulpa. They're all essentially a stone's throw away. I mean, they really are. Not far at all.
What's your favorite suburb?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd say it's a tie maybe between Jinx and Owasso. And I'd probably break that tie with Jinx, mainly because I spend more time there.
Right.
So I would say Jinx, yeah.
Yeah. It's closer.
Closer.
Owasso's great. But
Owasso's really nice. I mean, Owasso's really grown, but I don't know. It seems a little bit different. I think Jinx has a little bit more flavor to it. Owasso to me, sorry for my people who live in Owasso, but Owasso seems a bit more generic sometimes. I like that Jinx has kind of like this place. It has a little bit more character to it. I like the character.
Yeah. Well, actually, after you, the next guest coming in is Brian Wilkes, who is heading up the 10 district.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
All
we're going to talk to him a little bit about Jinx.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
that's perfect.
Well, you can tell him I said some really nice things about it.
I will.
There you go.
I will. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add about anything else about Tulsa?
No, I think Tulsa's a great place again. Great history. Very growing city, very vibrant city. Don't believe the hype, I guess, for the negative things, because anyone can. I have seen videos where people like say, hey, growing up in Tulsa, and they take a little small thing and they really elevate or isolate that. And I think that that's probably an inaccurate description or depiction of the city, right? So, but it's a great place. I would recommend it for anyone,
right.
excuse me. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be
Thank you.
here. Thank
and
you.
I appreciate your invitation. All right.
All right. That's a wrap.